Are you the best point guard ever?
Yes. Yes. It's me and Magic? Is that the conversation?
Yeah.
Not one.
Not two, not three, not four, not five.
I will punish you.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
Well, the theme of modern-day players declaring themselves the best of all time, the greatest of all time, isn't slowing down anytime soon, as Steph Curry recently declared himself the best point guard in NBA history. Now, I'm not a big fan of players doing this, declaring themselves the best of all time, the greatest at this, the greatest at that. I'm not a big fan of it. But I'll cut Steph a little bit of slack because at the very least he acknowledged Magic Johnson. And for me personally, I have Steph and Magic as the two best and greatest point guards in NBA history. And in today's video, I'm not going to dunk on Steph too much. What I'm going to do instead is really boost up and highlight how great Magic Johnson was in his day. Now, starting off at the top, Magic Johnson was an instant impact player and an instant winner. And the Lakers team he went to in that post-Wilt Chamberlain, post-Jerry West era, for the most part they were floundering in mediocrity. As in the 5 years leading up to Magic, they went 30-52, 40-42, 53-29, 45-37, and 47-35. And looking at the team right before Magic, the 1979 Lakers, they were a really talented team, but failed to win a championship or make the finals. And their starting lineup had three Hall of Famers, that being Kareem, Jamal Wilkes, Adrian Dantley, and then Norm Nixon. The Lakers team Magic went to was a good team missing that one ingredient. And with a rookie Magic Johnson replacing Adrian Dantley, a future Hall of Famer, the Lakers were off to the running and won 60 games in his first season. And looking at rookie Magic in the playoffs, the stats he put up were some guys' prime numbers, averaging 18 points, nearly 11 boards, 9.4 assists, most in the NBA, 3.1 steals, also the most, on 51.8% shooting. Magic in that year's playoffs as a rookie compared to Steph Curry, averaged more rebounds, assists, steals, and shot better from the field than any Steph postseason. And to cap it off, in the NBA Finals had one of the best series of all time, one of the best closeout games in NBA history. As in Game 6 in Philadelphia, with the captain down, he put up 42 points, 15 boards, 7 assists on 61% shooting. And even more impressive, as a rookie, played 1 through 5 and only sat for 1 minute. Nearly 45 years later, Magic is the youngest player ever to score 40 points in a playoff game and a finals game. And by winning MVP till this date, is the youngest player ever to win the award and the only rookie to take home that trophy. And before I move on, I just want you guys to understand how crazy it is for a rookie player in the finals to play as good as Magic did. He averaged 22 points, 11 boards, 9 assists, nearly 3 steals, on 57% shooting as a rookie. Now, looking past rookie Magic, we have prime Magic at the peak of his powers in 1987. This year, the GOAT point guard put up a season for the ages, averaging nearly 24 points, 12 assists, 6 boards, 1.7 steals, on 52% shooting. And for his Lakers team, they won 65 games, the most in the NBA. This year, Magic was first team All-NBA, MVP, led the NBA in assists, and had a career high in points per game. And looking at the NBA playoffs, the Lakers, of course, they would make the finals, breezing through the West, going 11-1. Now, in this year's finals, playing the three-time champion Celtics, who had beat them once before and lost them once before, this series right here was for all the marbles. And with that much pressure being on Magic, playing the Celtics, his big-time rival, winning MVP, he came through like very few players could, averaging 26.2 points, 13 assists, 8 boards, 2 steals on 54% shooting. That is what Irvin Magic Johnson does with his back against the wall. And for this series, the Lakers, heading to Game 4, they were up 2-1 playing in Boston. A very pivotal game with a lot on the line. And Magic in the clutch yet again came through hitting the hook shot to take a 3-1 lead. That shot from Magic right there really clinched the championship and clinched his legacy of being greater than Larry Bird. And to contrast 87 Magic really having a flawless season to Steph Curry in 2016, it's a pretty stark contrast, as unlike Magic, Steph blew a 3-1 lead after winning 73 games. And I know what some fans will say, well, in 84 Magic, he choked just like Steph in 2016. Now look, both players played bad, but Magic in 84 was still miles better than Curry in 2016. As versus Boston that series, he averaged 18 points, nearly 14 assists, 7.7 boards, 2 steals on 56% shooting. For any point guard not named Magic Johnson, that's the best series of their career. And looking at assist average, in NBA history in the finals, that ranks second all time for the most ever. Look at Curry in 2016 blowing a 3-1 lead. Only 22 points, 5 boards, 4 assists on 40% shooting. My overall point is pretty simple. Magic at his best on the biggest stage was better than Steph Curry, and Magic at his worst was better than Steph at his worst. Now, when talking about the 1980s, what you think of is of course the Lakers and the Celtics, were primarily Magic's dynasty and the Showtime playstyle. And I'll give Steph major props because just like Magic, he built a dynasty with enormous success. But looking at Magic's era of the 1980s, the way he dominated that era, it's really unparalleled. As for the 80s, Magic had 9 healthy seasons where he played 60 plus games. Out of those 9 years, Magic 8 times made the finals, and 7 times in 8 years, from 82 to 89, was in the NBA Finals. And from 85 to 88 Magic, that 4-year period, he won 3 championships, including back-to-back titles. And his Lakers teams those years never won less than 60 games. When talking about the Warriors dynasty, of course it's highly impressive. But there was kind of a weird gap, a break period, where they didn't dominate and have sustained greatness. As in 2020 and 2021, they missed the playoffs. And each of the past 4 years have failed to crack 54 wins. For comparison, in Magic's 12-year career, his Lakers teams never won less than 54 games. And what some fans might say is that Magic, well, of course he had Kareem and never won a championship without the captain. Now, of course, that is true, that's a fact, and you can't deny that. But adding some context, Kareem in the late 80s was much different than Kareem in the early 80s. As from 87 to 89, Kareem only averaged 14.9 points, 5.5 boards, 1.5 blocks on sub 50% shooting. Despite Kareem being 38, 39, even 40 years old, the Lakers still won 2 championships and made 3 total finals. And looking at Magic, his last 5 years in the NBA, from 87 to 91, they were simply fantastic. As he won 3 MVPs, 1 Finals MVP, 2 championships, and made 4 finals. And of course, in 91, had a highly underrated season, making the finals without Kareem. And if you look at the 91 Lakers, their path to the finals, it was pretty difficult, as they played the 44-win Warriors, 52-win Rockets, and Blazers, who won 63 games. And of course, in the finals, played the Bulls, who also cracked 60 wins. And look, Magic in 91, he didn't win the championship, but in the finals still played great, averaging 12.4 assists. If you look through NBA Finals history, that ranks 6th all time for a series. Can you guys take a wild guess? Who are the 5 other players ahead of Magic on that list? I'm pretty sure you guessed it. Number 1, Magic. Number 2, Magic. Number 3, Magic. Number 4, Magic. And number 5, yeah, Magic. And of course, when debating players who's better, who's greater, what you look at is a player's peak and really their 5-year window of absolute dominance. Comparing Magic versus Curry, 85-90 Magic, 2016-2022 Curry, I think I mean, I think Magic Johnson was the better overall player and the greater overall player. As compared to Steph Curry in his prime, he averaged more assists, rebounds, steals, shot better from the field, had a higher PER, won more MVPs, the same number of championships, and more first-team All-NBAs. Of course, Steph in longevity, he's already beaten Magic in that game. But looking at someone's prime, their peak, Magic still reigns supreme in that category. And comparing the tangible accolades, things you can measure just objectively, Magic still has more championships, more MVPs, more Finals MVPs, All-NBA teams, first-team All-NBA teams, and All-Star games. Those things right there you can measure and are definitive marks of how great a player is. But things you can't measure, like I showed in this video, is that Magic was an instant winner, had numerous iconic moments in the finals, he's the greatest passer in NBA history, he built a dynasty. Things like that you really can't measure. And compared to Steph Curry, I think it's pretty point blank. He was a better passer, rebounder, defender, had the higher IQ, and made his teammates equally as good as Steph Curry did. And one debate I keep hearing past the Steph vs. Magic who's better debate is who is more impactful for their era and on NBA history. It's kind of odd because somehow Magic's impact is actually being underrated historically. To remind you guys, Magic along with Bird saved the NBA. If those guys don't exist, the NBA as you know it just simply does not happen. And what Magic did for big point guards, big ball handlers, is extremely underrated. As guys like Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Chris Webber, even a Scottie Pippen, guys who were 6'6", 6'8", 6'9", Magic for his era inspired a whole generation. Of course, Steph Curry in his own right changed the game with a three-point shot. But I think Magic's overall impact recently has been kind of undervalued and really underrated. And hopefully in this video once and for all I proved to you guys why Magic still is the greatest and best point guard in NBA history. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.